Welcome. This is Barry Jones from Angelic Wisdom, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for October 30th through November 5th, 2023. So, as we begin, I'd just like to thank everyone who is returning to this weekly series and to also thank anyone and welcome anyone who is new to our Angelic Wisdom community. So just a few reminders. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you select the all notification bell, subscribe, like, dislike, and leave your comments. If you're called to have an angel reading with me at this time, you can go to my current website, theangelschool.com/services. And also, if you just like to donate to my channel, you can, uh, with your support, you can select my PayPal Me link for Angelic Wisdom. Also, um, as we're sort of in the last weeks of, or the last week of the month, and this video is for the ending and beginning of the new month of November, I will be working on the general monthly reading for November and the 12 angel scopes, which are for each zodiac sign. So those readings will be coming out within the next couple of weeks. So let's take a moment to really tune out the outer world, and tune into our inner being, wisdom and guidance. And just release and let go of anything that is on your mind. And trust that anything that is within your heart, trust that it has the ability to heal and resolve any issues. And the angels just really ask that we are totally honest, and that we feel completely safe and loved and cared for by God and the angels. And they were showing me a phallic symbol. So this is a sense for me about um, manifestation or launching something. And I'm seeing Archangel Gabriel step forward. And so this has to do with something around um, communication, so the arts, creative expression. And he's showing me a foot, barefoot, and then a foot with a shoe. It actually looks like a male shoe from the Baroque era, so the bows and a little heel. And the first sense I got was about taking a first step. And I guess what I'm seeing is sort of a slipper, house slipper, very comfortable but old one. And it's something that I think the second shoe is about sort of past life influences, steps that have been taken in the past, in your past lives. And then this sort of house slipper just shows me a sense of not, um, I think it's a feeling of criticism, like a commentary of procrastination, for instance, not really getting ready to take steps. And there's a concern as they write the word about exposure, or that you might be avoiding exposure and the harsh criticisms. And they're writing that there's a lot of censoring going on, which you need to heal. You're And he writes something about your health as well. And they're right indicating that there are going to be some changes in your health. If there's a health issue, that there's going to be a shift. As a matter of fact, I get this sense because they show me a mushroom, my symbol for abundance, is that it's going to shift when you start to do the things that your heart calls you to do. Because there is an inherent health or well being that comes with the energy that comes with um, following your heart. And they're just showing me the crystal avatrin. And so this is a great crystal to work with. Just give me a moment, since they brought that up, to work with for the heart chakra. I just wanted to look up the crystal sort of meaning here. Well, it says it's a positive stone of prosperity. That's the first sentence I see here. The Crystal Bible by Judy Hall. And it has a strong connection to the Davidic kingdom, used in grids and gardens around your home, and helps to relieve geopathic stress. So let's see, psychologically reinforces leadership qualities and decisiveness, and promotes compassion and empathy, encourages perseverance. It takes you back into the past to find the sources of dis-ease. Okay, there's just a few things that you could look up concerning that crystal. And where did it go? Oh, I removed it. I really don't have any space here for it. I'll leave it here for a little bit. And so this might be something to really help you in terms of working with this crystal, especially that line about leadership qualities and decisiveness and perseverance. And I think that what I was getting a sense of is, as you engage these projects, there's a sense of renewal and a boost of energy that you receive within yourself. So this is, and I feel like, there are some things that just keeps getting in your way in terms of, you're afraid of taking that first step. You're afraid of, so you get these messages, these ideas, and you feel this enormous potential, right? You are revitalized because with this comes extraordinary power from the universe. These feelings, you've often heard me say the aces and even the magician represents this extraordinary sense of power and empowerment. It's a charge. It's like the universe is charging you with something, or it indicates that you have been charged in a particular way. The magician might indicate that you are being charged right now, or something that is charging you. And whenever we feel this spiritual charge, I call it inspiration, we feel magical. Our souls are completely lit up. All the facets of ourselves are lit up. And this is another description they're writing for what prosperity is, what it feels like. So, whenever you're inspired to do something, the universe is already engaging you on a path of prosperity, a path for of success for you. And what we have to do is to work with it. Now, one of the first things that happens is when we get ideas, because I'm like this, and we're so energized, right? We want to start telling it to everybody. When that happens, especially when even if somebody can react to you at the same vibration of experience, every time you tell it to somebody else, you lose a little bit of it. One way is that you start to tell it in different ways. And in each one of those circumstances, you don't have a record of what came forward out of that divine matrix of new insights and ideas and goals. So, this energy of the number one, this potential, this power, it's so important. It's very much in a consolidated state. I mean, it's invincible. What one neglects to do is to work, to sort of work in this solitary way with this information until it's fully has been debriefed to you. All the aspects of what this new dream, new goal, new aspiration that has been inspired to you. So, like many of us, when it's in the ethers, it's exhilarating, it's exciting. But when we have to bring it down into the physical world, we start to feel less drawn to it because our ego starts to give us the list of doubts about what we're experiencing, and that power surge is lessened. So they're writing the word compassion, and this is going to require a lot of work in terms of compassion. And they keep writing the word confession because it's a symbol for honesty. You have to first own what you feel. That's a sort of confession. We often want to deny what we feel, deny the visions and the insights and the clarity that we receive because we think about past actions or past experiences, and if they didn't work out, or if we go start telling to people and they start sharing with you what they feel about what you're saying. And I'm not going to even put that in any context. Just that alone then starts to diminish it. That, they write, creates all of these things create more challenges. So now challenges are sort of forced into this, your ideas, and your confidence drops. So they want you to think about procedure. That's the word that just wrote in front of me. They want you, after you brainstorm and just jot down on a piece of paper all of the information that's coming to you, everything about the vision, describe it to keep yourself from focusing on failure or looking at all the reasons to doubt it. Just describe it. If it's a feeling and you don't understand the feeling, just keep talking about it, describing it. Notice what impressions come to you out of the feeling, because that's how it opens up. If it's ambiguous, but you just all of a sudden feel charged and you have this general idea, That's the matrix. That generalness is the matrix. And every day you could call that matrix, you could label it, whatever it makes you feel, and call it back up and tune into it and keep retrieving the divine wisdom and guidance from it. And once you get it, you brainstorm all the possibilities of what is coming to you. And don't worry, it's the best when you just can't figure it all out. But when it's feelings or impressions, um, where you have to sit with it and describe it so that you're just not randomly. And that might be for some of you because if you could just see it all, you would write it all down and possibly be overwhelmed. Just know that they're working with your habits, with the divine guidance that they're giving you, and they're trying to help you establish good habits. So once you do this, start thinking of a procedure. Let's just say an outline or a map of how you might get from point A to point B to point C to point D, ultimately knowing where you're going, Z, right? For instance. But, and then think about, in terms of procedure, other things. Where would be the first place to start? The healthiest place to start. Now, once you start to take a step, you're going to move out of that sort of energy ever so slightly. Your job is to hold it within you as much as possible, meaning express it, but always tap back into it. Find a way to connect with it that triggers that that energy, that flame to burn as brightly as it can possibly, as closely as it can to the original moment. And take the steps that you need, um, that will help you. And then maybe there's a point when you really can describe this thing in detail, whatever it is, or that you can articulate it with confidence and clarity. That's the moment that you reach out, not to the people who are going to waste your time in conversation about it, but to the people you need to engage to support whatever the idea is. That's where you go next. Because as you're working on it with the people who are meant to help you execute this idea, when it's time, when it's reached a point where it's where within the people you're collaborating with, when it reaches a point where it is really solid, then you can begin to tell certain people. But I've learned from my own past mistakes, don't tell everybody, because if it's too many people that you have to check in with, and it sets us up for the challenges that come with failure when you have to keep repeating the story to all the people who are going to ask you how it went. So you might want to think about really keeping that to a limit until you reach that success so that you can really focus on the changes that are unfolding as you are establishing this in the physical plane. You want to give yourself, and you may want to earmark what are going to be the significant changes that you might expect to see. And also, you know, a schedule within your week. Whatever time you can allot to this, put it in your schedule regularly. be aware of some of the challenges. That means things that are going to be something that you're going to learn a lot from, looking at it in that way, first of all. That's really going to help you to grow personally in this so that you are not phased by them or easily get into a mindset of failure or disappointment so that you don't finish it, or they say you don't reach the conclusion of it. So just a few things to think about. All right, let's take a look at the archangel that we're working with in this month. Huh, isn't this interesting? I pulled this card last night before I went to bed for myself for today. And this is Archangel Preminilek, and he is the archangel of all of the insects and in nature. So it says, be conscientious and cooperate with others for the highest good. So this is, you know, I get a sense of the when I think of insects, especially, we they usually are to us annoyances, pests, right? But they're they are a part of a network of caretakers who work sort of behind the scenes um, in terms of the maintenance of our planet, not only of the things in nature, but also behind us in some ways. All right, they indicate where we need to um, be more um, mindful. So when we neglect, then we'll attract certain insects, right? Or they are, as we like bees, for instance, they're pollinating, and so this keeps things the plant life blossoming. So there's all different types of purpose, but the idea of this working together and working together, and sometimes we think everything has to be to our liking. There are some insects that we don't like and some that we adore because it feels like some of them are working against our plan, but in actuality, they are supporting you in a way that challenges you. And so, as we learn to work together in things that we're doing in our own lives, we've got to be aware that there are certain people that are supports in our lives that challenge us, and others that encourage us, and others that help us to get things done, and others that are um, offer us a new perspective. So learning to, you know, first of all, have a mindset that the universe is always cooperating with you, establishing that as the foundation of your belief so that you don't get stuck in this trap of why is everything against me? Why is everyone against me? And turn it around in a fifth dimensional mindset and say to yourself, how is this person challenging me to be better than I believe that I am capable of in this moment? Where is this person drawing my attention to something that I've been neglecting? How is this person lighting the fire underneath me? And if these things are happening, they're always in some way, shape, or form, this means that the universe knows that you can handle what you set out to do. And it's just up to us not to give up. So, this also gives me a sense of spending time out in nature to sort of, when we get sort of stuck in our minds, in our selves, and we start really beating up on ourselves, to get outside and to really start to notice all the details, the tiny details of how nature is working together to create a beautiful and harmonious experience for us. And think about the ways that you can start to bring in the qualities of cooperation in order to heal, to bring through great offerings, contributions, creative expression, and ultimately to bring peace and love into the world. All right, let's take a look at the first card for the beginning of the week. And the cards were actually laid down in reverse. From this, I don't know why the energies took me over here first. So the first card that we see is the Six of Water. And when this card comes up, this is sort of really giving us a sense of that there's a lot of stuff left undone. So if we look here, I don't know why the color of this card is shifted like this, but I'll have to leave it. It's sort of like there's a lot of things here beneath the surface. And we see these children playing and swimming. But it's very much an evening scene. So there's a lot of moonlight shining in it. And the sense that I'm getting is that there are things that we need to balance. There are things that might be coming up. And actually, one of the things about this attribute of this number six is also a component of harmony, balance, and cooperation. So maybe think about there might be something coming up from your childhood about maybe the first time you worked on something and things that didn't go your way and the times that they did. And you might want to think about, without looking to place the blame on anyone, like so and so didn't do that, so and so didn't do that. Or in a positive situation, so and so did this and so did that. Because in both of those scenarios, you're giving power to others. We work together, but ultimately, it's how we choose to see things that determines how we are able to utilize those things as tools of um, learning and lessons and wisdom, or do we turn them into sort of scenarios of trauma and disappointment and regrets? So you might want to go through those situations and see how so and so was challenging you. And what would the lesson have been? What did you actually learn if you reinterpret that experience? And how might that inform you now? How might you take that challenge and that lesson and apply it with wisdom for yourself right now? And how might you take those things that worked and tune into that and apply it as wisdom right now? It's about, this is a sort of an act of compassion, transmuting interpretations that did not, um, that were unhealthy for us, because we've held on to them and we keep telling that story the same old way. And not just out, we don't just tell it verbally, we tell it to ourselves. You feel the feelings every time that something like it comes up, that feeling surfaces within you immediately. And so that's the feeling I'm getting, that you need to go back and look into those childhood experiences that might relate when the feelings come up. Don't go digging for them, but when they come up, and then try a new interpretation of that, and then create a new approach for it, a new habit to counteract that. Okay, and so here we have the Three of Earth, which is often seen as the card of collaboration and working with others, in a work sort of situation or project. So if this is highlighting that project or something that you're doing, and it could be that this is something that's already going on. It might not be your thing, but it could be something that you're doing, for some, with others, or for someone else, like a job. And what it's indicating is that if you are receiving something, some type of inspiration for you to do something, that the lesson to prepare you for that is within this situation. That you've got to turn that thing around so it's not connected to this. So this past dynamic is not taking over, influencing what's going on currently, and keeping you stuck in a cycle, really keeping you stuck in the past. And so you may not ever be able to do your own thing because you're holding on to something from long ago. Now, they just showed me the angel number 855. It says huge increases in your financial flow are occurring right now. And this to me means that there's something in this situation that if you learn that lesson, it's going to change. It's preparing you, actually, for huge financial changes in your own circumstances. So think about, again, how is so and so challenging me? How are they making me aware of something I need to heal? How are they holding me accountable? I'm saying the word, to be in terms of integrity. Perhaps on the surface, you are definitely a person of great integrity, but there are many ways that we sometimes might tend to not be true to that. And so instead of seeing people working against you, but seeing them as setting you up to be better, to maybe even have confidence in yourself. That antagonistic person in your life could be setting you up, giving you preparation, creating the obstacle course to prepare you to be better or to have confidence in yourself. Again, changing that story. And this is the first card that was placed down. And the Five of Fire for me right now, I'm feeling a sense of competitiveness. And competitiveness in the sense of comparing ourselves. Just one moment, water here. We try often, instead of being ourselves, we try to emulate those that we admire. And for good reasons, most of the time. And the angels saying yes in most in all of your cases. However, you'll never really be able to actualize your purpose until you realize that everything about you is the perfect ingredients for the perfect blend and brand of service that you will offer. So there are certain ingredients that alone, their flavor is not that pleasant. And there's some that have an immediate taste that we love. And that's sort of like our weaknesses and our strengths. But the thing is that those weaknesses and those strengths, those different facets of you, those different flavors are what make up who you are. And they are there for a reason. So that you can be a unique individuation of source. Some of the weaknesses, or let's say, use the word vulnerabilities, is exactly what draws people to you or why they feel they can trust you. Because in those vulnerabilities, there is a total sort of honesty, truth, authenticity of self that is revealed. So if you saw somebody sell whatever, and then you go out and you try to do what they do, but you try to do it the way they do it, but what you saw was their particular blend or brand, you've got to do it. If you believe in doing what they're doing, then bring you to that experience. And once you start to really truly be yourself and you stop trying to do it like others do it, that you admire for good reason, you will find that you will feel at home and totally confident with your entire blend and brand. And when you're working with others, you're drawn, you're attracted to each other because of your unique blends and brands. Now, when we criticize, that's because we aren't comfortable. We haven't made peace with our own blend or brand. It's like a coffee blend, right? Only whatever the ingredients are that creates a blend. And when others, you see other people doing the same thing, that's what that's about. It's not about you. It's about that they have not found peace with their own brand or blend of self. And so you have to focus on the things that their good qualities, let's put it that way. You have to focus on their good qualities. And you have to blend what you might be perceived as their negative qualities and see it as a vulnerability, and ultimately appreciate the entire spice or blend that they represent. These qualities make up who they really are, and the gifts that they bring. There are many times that you might say, he's a little bit like this, but he's a really talented guy. And in a way, you've accepted the appreciation of the way this person is. But when you start to look at them and look at yourself and pick and pick and pick, that's where cooperation falls apart. We have to focus on our commonalities, focus on the qualities that you enjoy, admire, and ultimately that you need or that's necessary. We work with different people for different reasons. We don't work with different people, everybody, for the same thing. Your purpose, rather, in working is you're going to this person for a particular thing. You don't have to be in a relationship with everybody. You don't have to have a friendship with everybody. They're different relationships that we have, and those qualities are where we need to focus for the purpose of those relationships. Ultimately, when you can, because I know that can sound a little manipulative, but ultimately it's a path to getting to total appreciating someone just the way they are. If it's someone that we're not supposed to be with at all, then they would not be in our lives. Simple law of attraction. All right, so let's take a look at the card I pulled from the bottom of the deck, and it's the card Renewal. So this would sort of indicate some kind of reexamination that you really want to sort of pay attention to your heart. And sometimes it feels like you're in this situation where your heart is making that call, and you're sitting here going, "What? Excuse me?" Like like why, right? And remember, there's a reason for everything. And once you accept that there is, then you will be able to see the truth. And this can be so liberating on so many levels. To not go in or judge based on preconceived ideas of what you are looking for, so therefore where everything is judged according to your expectations, which then become a limitation in what you're supposed to be getting out of this. So it's almost a lesson in judge ye not, lest ye be judged. Okay? This gives us a sense of overcoming something very powerful, that there is this extraordinary opportunity to shift perspective and to be completely liberated by the truth that you confessed to yourself and that you're willing to see in others. Don't let illusions keep piling into your life and distorting the opportunities to grow in relationships and interactions. All right, so I send you lots of love and angel blessings, and have a beautiful, beautiful week. God bless you.